Hi everybody, that didn't take long. Here we are, still in the Chamber of Bone. We're just leaving it now to go back to finish Labyrinth level 6. This lag is real, and it's glorious, but at the same time it's bad, because I know that there are people out there who are actually annoyed by it, even if I'm reveling in how it makes this really feel like old-timey Diablo all over again. After a few years, I had gotten a better computer and installed Diablo on it, and there was no the original Diablo on it, and there was no lag at all. I couldn't do my whole duping books thing, so I obviously didn't play a sorcerer in that run. Because a sorcerer is useless without high-level spells. Trishula of Death. I don't even know what a Trishula is. It's obviously some kind of maze, because that looks like a two-handed maze. That's one neat thing I got from playing the Diablo games. I learned a lot of... keep in mind, I said neat, not useful. I learned a lot of varied weapon types that I've never heard of before. I didn't know that a gladius was basically a short sword with a little bit of ornate decoration, or what a naginata was even before playing Diablo 2. And I didn't know that a bastard sword was actually a kind of sword, instead of someone deciding they wanted to take something that's been established as a naughty word and attribute it with a sword just because they felt like putting that as bad humor in their games. No, it actually is a kind of sword. As far as these weapons go, I always have a favoritism for swords over other ones, just because of how simple they are. And I mean, it's as simple as there is a handle, there is a blade, and grip handle, hit enemy with blade. Yes, there is for actual swordsmanship, there are some nuances and skilled techniques you can work with, but for the basic handling of a sword, you wouldn't need super specialized training like you would with, say, a spear or nunchucks, or just all kinds of very unique, very interesting weapons, but I favor swords for their simplicity. And recently, I actually saw on the Discovery, not recently, like some months ago actually, but recently enough that I'm calling it recently in comparison to learning about these weapons in the first place, I heard that it's not always a matter of hold the handle and hit enemies with the sharp side of the sword, because apparently I forget what they called it, like blade wielding a sword was a thing where they'd grip it by the blade and use the pommel and guard and whatnot as a makeshift mace against enemies who were wearing armor that was resistant to cutting, which was pretty smart. You gotta hand it to them. There's a thing in here? Gorestone. Okay, not a storyline relevant thing, but I'm trying. Like I said before, I'm trying to watch for named mobs to see which ones are the Archangel Staff of Apocalypse. I swear I spent a year trying to get one of these for my sorcerer back in Diablo 1. Sorry for my nostalgia gushing. It's kind of like Egoraptor with Mega Man. But yeah. Apocalypse was the most powerful spell in the game. And for a while in Diablo 1, it wasn't even believed you could get a book for learning it with your character. There was rumor that Diablo himself would drop the book, but only if you killed every other thing in the dungeon on your way down, and you went through the trouble of making sure you picked up every piece of loot that dropped from everything else on the way down. Now on this floor we should see the halls of the blind, which is not going to look like much with recording. I'm saying that right now because it really won't. But what it is the fact that it doesn't look like much is actually kind of the point behind it. And that's what made it interesting, is you can't see anything and the enemies move invisibly. Oh, here it is! So I'm gonna this one's kind of a little gross, actually. The book.
I can see.
I'm gonna say it. You don't have to. I can see what you see not. Vision milky, then eyes rot. When you turn, they will be gone, whispering their hidden song. Then you see what cannot be. Shadows move where light should be. Out of darkness, out of mind, cast down into the halls of the blind. That was spooky when you encountered it in Diablo 1. It's kind of... a lot of the things that were spooky then are kind of silly now, but you see I'm being attacked without seeing things, and you saw me hit an attack on a random piece of floor that blew up enemies that you can't see them. They don't even look like they're there until you just blindly swing into the darkness, or they creep up on you and they hit you. This was super scary in Diablo 1 and might still be kind of scary to some players nowadays. Only reason why I'm not scared of it, well, okay, more than one reason I'm not scared of it. One is it is just a game, yes. And two being that this character is prepared for it. One hit from them might take like a 1/8 of his health, and when they swing, I know there's one there. Or if I wanted to, I could just keep blasting my exploding bell around corners to make sure to kill them all without them getting close to me. There are so many things that can be done to avoid the scary stuff, but playing games that have scary stuff, the whole point is to encounter it, to engage it, and to enjoy the adrenaline rush that comes from that fear. Is to immerse yourself in it, and even though it's just a game, to try and give yourself the feeling of being that character in the game rather than being yourself, even if it's only for a short 10-minute gameplay or a couple or an hour or two. But the halls of the blind, yeah, it is just what it says. They're halls where you are completely blind to everything, and at the end of that area of Diablo 1 was this optic amulet, which increased your light radius in a very unique twist. I mean, I'm not going to call it ironic, because, you know, it might be a little bit, but more than that, it's rewarding you with sight for going blind. It's actually kind of proper in a way. And I'm navigating using the mini-map, by the way, for those who are wondering how I know my way around this place when I cannot see a thing. I can still see my mini map. It would have been a neat, although probably overkill touch if they would have blinded out your mini map in this as well. I'm not sure I would have enjoyed it as much if they did. But that Halls of the Blind, it wasn't necessarily story significant, but what it did was it introduced the Unseen Stalker, an enemy type that you meet a lot in the catacombs and occasionally in the caves area. And I don't think in Diablo 1 that it appeared this deep down. I think it actually normally would appear on the 5th floor of the labyrinth, the 1st floor of the catacombs area, because it was introducing an enemy type that only appeared in this area, and it was kind of the sign that you would be encountering them on that run. Because with the whole procedurally generated map thing, you didn't have the same enemies every run, and some enemies had more difficult mechanics, so to speak, than others. My least favorite are these spitting dogs, which I think I just, in that last room back there, killed a couple of them. Because them spitting fiends, yep, there's one. There was definitely one in that bell explosion. In Diablo 1, when one of those died, they left a pool of acid where their body is. And I hate when you turn the ground against me. Yep, an acid beast right there. I knew I saw one. I knew they were spawning on this map. I shouldn't say spawning. They spawned with the map. Because enemies don't spawn while you're in the middle of play in the Diablo games. It'd be kind of a neat mechanic probably if they did, but it'd be a little unfair because you couldn't clear the map. And a lot of players, like me, like to clear the map, like to make sure everything is safe and sound and happy. Bloodstones! Big guys that in the original Diablo I killed with fireballs because I didn't want them to smack me with their fists. I like the mindset of the sorcerer. I didn't take one of my wizard characters here because they're squishy, and not that it would have mattered because I could have just turned the difficulty down, and probably I should have done that because it would have resulted in less lag. For those of you watching, because while I might be enjoying this, are probably some of you swearing at me, like yelling, Icarus, why the bleep de bleep bleep are you subjecting us to this? Well, I'm still geeking out over actually having lag in Diablo again. It's not necessarily a good experience, but it's very nostalgic. Here's Zar the Mad! Hiya, buddy! Now, they replaced the bookshelf that you disturbed to make Zar the Mad at you with just this musty tone. You touch it, and he doesn't even do his quote anymore. You don't hear his crazy voice with him saying that it's enough to make one go insane. And
I must lessen my burden.
Oh. I've been picking up too much junk. Well, I'm not going to keep the camera running for this trip to town because it's a trip to town. But that's where I'm going. I'm going to just unload my bags. I'll kick back up when I get back. As promised, Icarus is back and now with a lighter inventory. Yay! Not carrying junk around with me anymore. Not so much of it anyways. You might notice there's 4 pieces of junk I'm always carrying. That's because in case I pick up reusable parts, arcane dust, veiled crystals, or death's breath while I'm exploring, then that will auto-sort them to the end there. And I just oh wait, no, there's more to explore over here. I was going to say, I just realized that I'd reached a very long dead end, and we'll have to do a lot of backtracking. And so would be doing another jump cut, but I'll do that if I actually do reach a dead end. Because of going the wrong way. Like I said, the Darkening of Tristram map actually does use a set map layout, which I am so thankful for. I've never been a fan of procedurally generated or randomized anything. I mean, it can, randomized stuff can add this tiny bit of extra excitement or anticipation to a game that a static map cannot. But at the same time, I like being able to count on knowing that certain things are in certain places, to be able to count on, if I'm going to share something with somebody, that something will in fact be there when I go to see it or show it. Fortunately, I think the static layout of the map in this Darkening of Tristram event actually does spawn all the things that I wanted to show you guys and talk about, except Garbod the Weak. And in fact, it might have actually spawned him. I just didn't spend enough time on Labyrinth level 4 to see him. But now I have 9. The caves. I am halfway through this thing that I've been trying to record. I haven't been keeping count even of how many videos I've been doing this in. I'm just trying to break up this whole, it's basically hour-and-a-half long experience into shorter 20 to 30 minute segments. Oh look, there's the way down to the level 10 already. Well, let's use this dash ability that I've been forgetting I have to see if anything interesting spawned on Labyrinth level 9. I might stop picking up treasure because I don't really need it, and it's kind of slowing me down.
I will not do that.
Of course you won't, because I tried to use it when you were out of charges. You only get 3 of those. No, acid beasts, do not spit at me, and I am so thankful that the Darkening of Tristram versions of you do not leave piles of acid goo where you die. Slain hero. This wasn't here before, I don't think. Yeah, I'm gonna stop picking up treasure except for the significant treasure now. And by that I mean things that actually are interesting throwbacks to Diablo 1. What are you? Broken Storm.
This fight is over.
Well, that happened. I'm not picking up any more Godly Plates of the Whale. You cannot make me. And yeah,
The storm breaks.
for those wondering, the godly of the whale and all that. I knew there'd be something. The black mushrooms. You get them here in Diablo 3 to open up, to get your Staff of Herding for... But these ones won't work for your Staff of Herding because they're the Darkening of Tristram ones. In the original game, you got them for a quest to make an elixir of sorts. And sorry, I got distracted because Darth Mom's awake, and I think she actually tried to shush my recording earlier, which I could have done. Probably better to do, because this is for a short period, because there's nothing left on this floor and I gotta backtrack to the stairs. So I'm gonna cut this short and then pick up with the next one on floor 10. Bye.